let's get this out of the way first. Kicks are super important, and switching out the wrong kick for the right kick can make your track sound 20 times better, and that is no understatement, dude. Like, that is the truth. There's been tracks where I have the horrible kick, horrible, labels rejected the kick, I switched the kick out, and now it's like, whoa, why didn't you send us this song? I'm like, it just didn't have the right kick, bro. The first tip I have for you guys out of the get-go is if you're looking for the right kick, I recommend you use the SPLICE engine. We have a genre selection of most relevant, most recent, and random. Most recent for vocals, but most popular is useful when you're looking for drums that we can all agree sound good, because most popular is going to be the ones that people are downloading the most, and we can all agree that I think most people aren't too boop, boop, boop. You know, they're picking the right stuff. Really. That's not a house. What the fuck? The bass is the wife, and a happy wife means a happy life, and I agree with that because I'm married. But point being, usually the bass you pick is really going to dictate the length of the kick, because depending on the vibe you're trying to go for, the kick will play a role in helping you achieve it. When it comes to kicks, there's a couple of things to look at: the length of the kick, the tone of the kick, and the vibe of the kick. Okay, and there's always that vibe, and the vibe is the part where, like, you have the intuition, this sounds good for it. For this kind of bass, I want a kick that's going to be fairly strong but short, this part of the bar, and isn't going to go further. So the first thing is the length of a kick matters. So let's see. Okay, this will probably be around the ballpark we're talking about. Okay, now with the sidechain, I am routing the kick into it. We're going to have this sidechain from there. Let's look at how big the kick is. The kick is fairly long. This is one of those kicks that we can shorten a bit by using the one shot. We're going to fade that out like so. As I hear this is okay, but the thing is that bass is so open, right, that the kick isn't up there with it. We want like somewhat of a click on the kick. You can tell this kick is too tech housey. It has too much thump to it, so we wouldn't pick it because it just doesn't flow. So we go with this kick because it's fairly short. It's not going to take up a lot. You can see there that our sidechain is even too much for it. Very important. From there, the tone of the kick is important. Now, the next question that comes to play is going to be the key of the kick. Does that matter? As a sound designer, I can tell you 100% certainty that the key of the kick doesn't matter unless you are making like a big room kick with a tail to it. Unless you're making a kick that's going to have a very pronounced low end that's long, then it matters. If you're trying to get the kick and bass and face, that matters. But if the bass is constantly moving in notes, then you can't fucking do that. You can only do that when the bass is one singular note, because it's predictable how the face is going to pan out. Let's do a techno one this time. Now, when it comes to picking the right kick, genre is very important, and if you're making like this kind of techno, you definitely want to say, hey, I'm making techno. In techno, you want to kind of explore or learn about what are the drums that they generally use, and then from there, you start to kind of find a way to either one, create those drums, find those drums, and use those drums. I know the 909 is very heavily used in techno, and that's what we're going to want. We need a strong kick. We need an alpha kick. So we're going to go with a kick, and for this one, we want thump. We want character. I think symmetry is probably going to be the better one to use. Now we're going to... Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's not the right kick. There's always a good kick and match. We're like Cupid, you know, we're trying to get the kick and the bass to, you know, do something. Let's see. Nah, it's not gonna work. Kennedy Meadows. Bass has more issues, so I'm gonna grab mid side. I'm gonna get rid of the side. There's a lot of this atmosphere I didn't get. Okay, so for this one, I can't seem to find the right kick in the Deceiver pack, which it's a house pack. So we're gonna go to We're gonna go to Splice and see if we can get a techno kick. So we're gonna use the formula that we talked about before, which is techno genre. So with this kick here, I like the vibe of it, but I'm just not liking the tone of the kick. If that makes sense, it's too cardboard boxy. So from here, I might decide to do this. Also try pitching the kick up and down to see if that helps. I am not letting this sidechain get away. I'm gonna sidechain it heavy because there's that weird atmosphere on the bass. It sounds ugh. If you do a bit of change with EQ on the kick and the kick does not work, fuck that kick. You're gonna keep moving because life is too short. We're gonna keep. It actually sounds promising. A little too clicky, but we can fix that. Okay, now I want to show this scenario because usually I would edit like a fail out, but here I'm gonna say how it is. I think we found the right kick in before. The problem is since the bass, whoever fucking made that bass loop, they added that weird atmosphere that's very loud. Instead of the track feeling like the bass and kick fit, the overwhelming amount of atmosphere actually made the track feel flat. And you're going to find that when you have too much of something in the bass or too much of something in the drums or in the kick, usually you find the track gets flattened out and it doesn't groove. This is why some people like Steve Angelo say when you're working on a song, you feel it more versus you use your ears more. Because as you feel the groove come to fruition, you kind of know, okay, I'm going in the right direction, versus when you don't, then and usually that's because of bad mixing, bad decisions. But again, sound selection is important because sound selection makes the mix easier. The mix should be easy, but when you pick the wrong sounds, you have to go above and beyond to try and make. See, that kick works already better. I mean, we had to kind of EQ out the obnoxious click. It's way too clicky, whoever made this, but I want to show you guys this new plugin I've been using, and I like to use it because it brings the low end to life. A lot of us back then, if you watch all my videos, I have this technique that I teach, and this is the same technique except now you don't have to guess too much. So usually back then I would say use Pro MB, target the lows like so. And control your low end, you know. But now there's a plugin that does that called Low Control from Black Salt. And I did get this plugin for free. And there is an affiliate in the description if you like the flow of it. And it's also fairly cheap. And the way I like to use it is like this. We solo the low. We can see how the kick and the bass aren't really tight in the low end region. So we're going to pull down. Now more controlled. Let's make that up. We're gonna make it up. Look at how stable it looks here. Look at that stableness versus. Now, other issues come with the kick, but the kick is sounding better. Okay, so this is a good kick that deserves a bit of love for sure. You give it a little love and it gives back. But again, if you can avoid doing this, that's the most important thing. And this is why you will always find sound designers that you trust to make the best kicks available for you to make your life easier. It is a bit of pay to win, but the skill is in you using your ears and knowing who to trust. So we keep going now. I like this bass because it's this kind of bass in this field allows us to use a bigger, beefier kick, and we'll see if Deceiver 6 can help us out. If not, we're gonna have to go somewhere else. I'll smudge. Have a little too much mid on the kick. We need more definition from it. Shape the kick just a little better. It feels like it could get tighter, and then I think we're there with it. Easy peasy with that. We also change the kick to something different. There's always going to be more than one right kick for the situation. Another company that I always recommend to people is called Leviathan, Black Octopus. They have the Leviathan series. And whenever I'm working on strong stuff like this, I always go there to use kicks. There are also going to be some of the competition, which I'm more of like, I respect, if that makes sense, in the sense that I look at their stuff and go, well, some of it, and go like, okay, that's a good kick. How did they make that? How can I learn to make something like that? Come on. Okay, this one's good too. It's very clicky, so it allows the kick to punch through. It doesn't mean anything's wrong until you get to the master. If you find it's too clicky, then you would switch the kick out. You can tell this kick demands more respect. It's more characterful, so it's not wrong. Too weak. You can sense the vibe, right? Like it falls when we pick some of these. This one's dope. A little too clicky, a little too pushed on the transient, but that one is dope. That's what I want. Way too clean. Basketball, he loses the vibe. There we go. So the reason we go with a tougher kick is because, again, the vibe, the bass is so loud, so big. So we need a kick that's going to go with it. You can definitely pick more of a basketball kick, and there's nothing wrong. It sits right. But the vibe is what we're seeking, right? So as you can tell, a lot of times when I was going, this kick is good or not, it was more of the vibe. I could jump. I could feel the track kind of like, oh, yes. And that's what we want. From there, you want to be able to kind of hear the kick and go, okay, this is too basketball-y. We lose the flavor. We lose the jump. We lose that, the titty bounce. Oh, this is a good one. Definitely want to sidechain the top snore. But no. You can see it doesn't flow, it gets lost a bit. So let's go back to. So for this one, it's what I would call, we need a cashmere kick, especially with that kind of bass, because we need something that's going to allow the kick to pop through. This kind of bass, as you can tell, has a lot of mids and high frequencies, okay? Bop, bop, bop. It's very loud compared to a tech house track. So usually we need a kick with a stronger click when we're working with these kind of songs. So we would go kick. We're going to go EDM kicks, punchy kicks. Yeah, we need like that. Just, you hear that. This allows for the bass to really just take control of everything. Look at the little kick that could versus that huge fucking bass, dude. So that's what I mean, you know, like the bass is going to take everything here. So we're going to allow that. We still need a better kick. That one's not good enough. Now I can't go with a long kick like this as well, because you can see I lose a lot of the bass, right? A lot of the bass is lost. So again, we need a strong short kick, and I think I know what we need. The Seaver 5 has this clone BB. Something like this. We can try that. And this is where I would consider layering a kick. So now we get into that. Okay, see, this kick can definitely handle this now. Now, when it comes to layering kicks is valid, but there's one thing that I want to talk about with layering kicks. Number one, you're not going to layer 3 or 4 kicks. And if you ever see anyone doing that, as a sound designer, again, that makes kicks used by big producers, this is what I'm going to tell you. Lucky. Lottery. So when it comes to kicks, you can definitely layer kicks because there's parts to a kick, of course. Right now, we're looking at this kick in particular. We have the initial part, which is the click, the transient part of this kick. We can all agree the transient part is not strong. It's more of a boom, but it still has a transient. It's that click. From there, we go into what we would call the body part of the kick, which is where you're going to find majority of the mid-low and the low end, the bass part of the kick. Those are 2 parts to a kick. Why do you need to layer any more than that? Why do you need to layer 4? Like, you have 2 parts to a fucking kick, the transient and the body. Tell me, why do I need to layer 3 or 4 kicks? If you ever see that, is don't put it off, because if it works for you, I say fuck it. You know, if you win the lottery every time, you're one lucky son of a. But it is to me as a sound designer, like I said, I've tried, and the only reason I can say is because I've tried layering kicks like that to make better kicks, and it always ends up bad. Okay, I've tried layering claps, and it always ends up bad because there's phasing that occurs. Snares, you would think you layer 3 snares, it would sound louder and stronger. It doesn't. Try it. Okay, so this is why I am more methodical about the way I do my drums now, because I want the producers to enjoy my work and to be happy, not to be sad and like, this kick fucking sucks. Duplicate that. And again, transient and body part of the kick. It's as simple as that, fam. No need to, it's just a click, fam. It's just a click. Okay, now we got to make sure these phase, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little fade into this kick to allow for this kick. Look how much better it sounds. To allow for this top kick. Now this top kick, I'm going to assume the fade it out. I want the click. We're going to move this. That, you hear that? See, that shouldn't be happening either, brothers. So what I'm going to do is maybe filter this a bit. There we go. Those damn clicks. But just hear that now, right? You hear that click of the, you see how the kick and bass works. With this video, again, I'm trying to be more practical with the knowledge we talk about. When it comes to music production, you can learn a lot, but this knowledge doesn't mean anything if you don't practice. So if you want to practice like I'm doing, what I recommend you do is you go on Splice, you find some bass loops, you put them in, work on some 8-bar loops. Don't try and make anything. If something comes fucking sick, there you go. But if not, if you're suffering from writer's block, do this, practice your kick and bass pairing skills. You want to be like Cupid. You want to pair the right kick with the right bass, and you get better at it. You get better at hearing these things. You get better at, okay, knowing. Hopefully the kick layering part demystifies a lot of it for you guys. There's going to be people with different opinions. I welcome the different opinions, because your job as a producer is to come on YouTube, you learn, and you're going to learn from different people. And you're going to be like, I'm going to keep layering kicks because it always works for you. And then maybe 10 years down the line, you're like, fuck, that was messing me up, or maybe not. And that's cool, because you learn, you grab what you want from each individual, and you create a sound, and that will become your unique sound. And I'm only happy to be part of that. You know, like, even if it's if you're not gonna be loyal to me, I'm happy to be a part of it, if that makes sense. You can have 3 wives, bro. Okay. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you want to support the channel, make sure to head over to evilsounds.com. You can find all of my sound design work used by some of the heavyweights like David Guetta, Mal P, Space 92, UMIC, A-Lock, the list, Lost Frequencies. Now the list goes on. I can keep naming, bro. But point being, West End. Point being, a lot of these big producers use my stuff. They always ask for it. There's a reason for it. Discover for yourself. And if you guys want to continue your knowledge forward, I did make a video on how to go about in selecting synths when it comes to sound selection as well. I think it's one of the most important things that you can do. Yeah, it's not fancy teaching and it's not amazing, but it's one of the fundamentals that many people overlook. And if you get those fundamentals right, your mixing, your mastering, and your songwriting improve, as you saw, and you become a better producer in the right way, where you can be true to yourself. You guys take care. You guys have a great rest of your day.